The inspiration that I have when I look at people is it's actually the people out there in the audience. They inspire me because they want so much, they need so much, but most of all they believe in me so much, and that inspires me to do the best, or to give the best that I can. I find I'm so in the moment, and I'm so engaged in my show, in giving the best that I can. I never lose myself. I try to be present all the time, and I don't think that's ever happened for me to lose myself and forget where I am and what I'm doing. I'm so engaged, and because it's all about giving as much as I can.
We prayed and prayed and prayed for Lori to come through. And today, on my way in, there was 2 rainbows, and I felt like it was her. And when I was driving along, I never had a rainbow follow me. And when I was driving, the rainbow kept coming into town with me. And the song came on the radio that was Sarah, and that's my dog's name. And my sister died within 2 weeks of my dog. And so when she mentioned that she had my dog, it all correlated so strongly that we felt, when we went to dinner tonight, we kept saying there's too many signs, there's so many signs that she's gonna come through. And to have that energy, and Lisa's just such a incredibly giving and loving soul that it just comes across, and it gives you that feeling of completeness, and that's what I got.
I think the reason this experience is going to change my life is it's going to make me so much more grateful about the fact that my grandparents are still there, and about the fact that I can relay this message back to my mother, who was probably waiting and counting on this. My mother, I did not tell her that I'm going to be here, but she heard me talking about Lisa Williams before, so I'm sure she's going to be excited when she hears that my grandmother actually came through. My mother will definitely believe me that this happened tonight. If there's one thing I could say to Lisa, is thank you so much. You have such a great gift, and you bring so much joy to people's lives. So thank you.
What I'd like to get out of the show, I love seeing other people being healed, and watch the information that she relays to them, give them a sense of peace and hope and joy. And it doesn't matter to me if I have a reading or not. I like to witness that in other people and to see that process. And I went to one of her other shows in Norfolk, and took a few days off this time and had to come to Charlottesville, and drove 3.5 hours in the driving rain to come here, and I'm excited. I wasn't a skeptic. I've met other mediums before. I've had some friends who had abilities, but no one on TV that I'd seen or in person that I'd seen had the same abilities and sensitivities as her. And she's so real and approachable to people, and I think that she's genuine. And that's something that you don't get from everyone, and it's not just an act. She's the real deal.
You always have this moment of, how am I going to be received? And sometimes it's a really subdued, oh, Lisa, nice, and then you get these uproar, which is crazy. To be accepted, and there's so many people, they're sort of amazed at what I do, is phenomenal. It's interesting because the people who support me are like my family, and I get really emotional on things like this, because it's these people who have believed in me so much, and I feel really emotional with this, because these people have believed in me so much that they have come to see me, and they're members on my website, they have read my book, they have been there and supported me. And really, it's taken them to support me for actually me to start believing in myself. And that's why I give so much to these people, because they're the ones that have stood by me and believe in me. And I'm gonna cry.
And I also feel, strongly, because I had been asking all day for them to come and see me. I'm feeling very peaceful and a little bit drained. emotionally drained. I mean, physically and emotionally drained. I'm sure that I'll have dreams tonight and lots of fun stories to tell to our kids.
The sense of closure is really going to help me because I needed to know that my daughter was okay.
I always had some sort of closure, after she passed and stuff, a little. I mean, today answered, it's really creeped me, not creeped me out, but it answered some stuff, and I really was skeptical when I came in here, and now the whole MySpace and the lights flickering thing is just, unbelievable.
My whole thing since Christopher died has been, is he okay and is he with my dad? And that is on my mind 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't sleep. It's been 17 months and 23 days. And it's just been really hard. And thank you, Lisa. I've been in therapy and everything else, and nothing else has done me as much good as this night has.
I know that this experience is definitely going to change my life because we know that Seamus is happy where he is. He's not in pain. And we know he's with us. We say it every day, that he's watching out for us. And when he thanked us for keeping his memory alive, that really touched me because we named our son after him. And just the fact that he knows that really means a lot.
I believe both adopted and birth father were there because they said stuff that dealt with my adopted father and they said stuff that dealt with my birth father. She mentioned that I got a tattoo that had something to do with my father. Now I have Aquarius tattoos, but my dad was Aquarius. But this one I just got and it's green and my birth father's last name was Green. So, and I said I did it for my mom whose last name is Green. So they were kind of both there at different times and they both drank, they both had really good senses of humor, and they weren't very shy. Now, I never met my birth father, so it's great to see that I have some of his traits, good or bad. The answers that I got tonight that would surprise me are kind of the emotional ones. My dad and I weren't that close, and there was a lot of problems with my mother. So hearing him say he was sorry and he never listened, I got really choked up at that moment. I really thought I was going to lose it at that point with a microphone in my hand in an audience. And then hearing him say that he was sorry and that I didn't get to say goodbye because I was sick when I was in the hospital and I had to leave because they were scared I was going to infect other people. So I had to leave, so I didn't get to say goodbye to him when he passed. I really do feel I'll be more at peace after this. It was really wonderful to hear this. Especially I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I'm kind of a prankster, jokester, and to see that both my dads are and they by name, like Billy, I was like, oh Jesus, here we go, so it's really good to know that I'm carrying the torch in a good way.
I'm still tingling from head to toe because I just know my mama's right here with me, and she just confirmed that for me. Not that I needed the confirmation, but now I know because Lisa told me she is. I know she is.
I would have expected my father to come through because we were so very, very close. But of the two of them, my mother was much more the vocal one. And my brother, that would have been my brother, the guy sitting in the background, saying, hey, I did it my way. I am absolutely going to be able to sleep with the feeling that my mother and my father are around me.
Mark died very tragically, way too young. He was 25, 26 when he died. He just returned from Iraq, and his friend was deploying to Iraq from another unit, and they were taking him down to a festival and celebration before he left, and a lady decided to turn to a yard sale, and her brakes hit, his friend's truck's brakes hit, and Mark unfortunately hit the truck. And, I was in the middle of an LSAT test, and I found out in the middle of the test, and I haven't been able to sit for that test since. But it was very unexpected and very hard. Yeah, there was some question as to where Mark actually died. Was on the roadway, was in the hospital, from my understanding. And he wanted to get across that, because I think it was just such a horrific accident scene that you know, it wasn't something he suffered, and I'm glad he didn't suffer. That was one of my worries.
I feel a lot better now that he wasn't, you know, in pain, that he didn't have to really worry about too much of that.
I grew up with him since I was 13, so he was my brother, and, you know, I will never let him go out of my life.